much for clicking on the video. My name is Leah, and we're going to recap and review Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I think this is episode 8. Don't quote me. No, I think this is episode 7 because I saw the clip for. So this is season 12, episode 7. I hope I'm right. Not much really happened, but one thing I can say, Diana's a turd muffin. Just a turdy muffin. So let's get into it. So the episode opens up and you have, it's the night before. We still have Sutton versus Diana, but we all know that Diana and Crystal and them got up and left the table. So we're back in Diana's presidential suite. She got the nicest room out of all of them. And it's Crystal, Diana, and Erika sitting in the room. And then you got Sutton, Kyle, and Dorit like trailing behind them. And like Kyle said, we'll talk shit about each other, but then we'll be in another person's room drinking drinks. Diana, to her dismay, was not happy to see Sutton. And they just sit down and get on the topic of like divorces. And basically, Diana says she had a pretty happy divorce. We both took what we wanted and we were good to go and we're still cool. Sutton says she just wanted to be off and under her husband's thumb, but they're still cordial. And then Kyle says she always felt bad about divorcing her husband because he's a great guy. Like they co-parent well, but he's never married again. And she always felt bad for that, but she knew she was too young to get married. And then Erika is just kind of like, is like the same as Sutton. She wants to get off and under her husband's thumb. She talks about, and her analogy, I will give her credit, where she was like, well, Sutton said, well, do you think you hold any responsibility because of Tom's like cases and with the, the money and all that stuff? And Erika was like, does a doctor's wife hold responsibility for his patients? And I was like, she got a point. Sis has a total point. She has a complete and total point. So they then, in the night, Sutton and, especially Erika says she wished that her and Sutton could have this back and forth. But I'm like, Erika, honestly, Sutton was a genuine friend to you. So I don't get why. I don't get why she's so angry with Sutton when Sutton at least had the balls to say or question Erika to her face. Everybody else was talking around her and about her, but wasn't talking to her. Except Sutton. So I was just like, girl, go on and let God at this point. But we see Lisa waking up in the morning. She's kind of like in a somber mood because her mom just passed away, and she keeps seeing birds, and the medium told her that birds mean her, like her mom is with her, but she's just touch and go, like her mom, one day she's good, one day she's not. So then we have a scene where it's spliced, where we have Lisa Rinna, Kyle, and Dorit eating breakfast in the morning, and then you have Sutton, Garcelle, and Crystal having breakfast and eating and all that stuff. So they're having conversations about Crystal. And what we gathered from this is that Lisa Rinna, Dorit, and Kyle feel like, Crystal is manipulative and she plays this victim role. But like Dorit said, she got married young, so maybe she hasn't had like interactions with people, or this is the way she gets things in her marriage, which I can see that. And they're just kind of like, do you just think this is how she is? Or do you think this is what she uses, like since she was a kid, to get things? And they were like, yeah. So I said, girl, bye. So, but I think Lisa and Dorit are right that like, this is a tactic that Crystal has used since she was a kid, and it's been pretty much beneficial for her. But then when you do it on a larger scale where everybody can see you doing it, it never benefits you in the end. So then we have this conversation with Garcelle, Crystal, and Sutton where, we come to like kind of a conclusion why Crystal does the thing that she does, even though I kind of don't believe it. But Crystal basically says that like she keeps processing things until she is internally okay with it. but then she blurts it out at inconveniencing like times, and then now it comes off manipulative. And Garcelle was like, I get what you're saying, but it does come off manipulative because you're waiting and other people thinks like y'all are well past what y'all are going through. So you need to be upfront and confront your feelings instead of being passive aggressive or waiting at the most inopportune time to blurt out your angst and your anger. The day's festivities is all of them getting on this boat, to much dismay for Diana, because basically Diana was like, this a day boat. This ain't luxury. This isn't a yacht. And they actually show her yacht. And I can give her credit. The yacht that she got looked like it's way bigger and has more amenities. And it's called, it's a charter yacht that she likes to boat on all the time. But to knock this yacht, when I'm like, sis, unless you're going to buy them, like, you know, rent the yacht or bring your yacht like you did your plane, just be glad with what you got. Everyone's getting ready to go on the boat. Erika is 3 sheets to the wind, but I will say I don't know if I believe Erika was all the way drunk or just putting 20 on 10, but then again, she did say that she was mixing her Xanax or her antidepressants with alcohol, and they always tell you, they even say it on the like medication bottle not to do that. So she could have totally been 3 sheets to the wind. And so she's drunk. She said she had 3 margaritas. She half sleep on the bus. She talking about how she used to have a yacht called the Illegal, which I was like, girl, don't tell nobody that. But she drunk. Diana gets stung by a jellyfish. They end up putting hand sanitizer on her leg. And that's what it looked like, but it could have been ointment. Like I said, Diana's a turd muffin. Diana's such a turd muffin because she's talking about, unfortunately, how her brother passed away. He was in the military, a peacekeeping officer, and unfortunately they found him dead in a ditch. And then Sutton tried to like relate to her in a sense and talked about her dad passing away. And Diana immediately, like her immediate reaction was like to shut down and be like, the conversation isn't about Sutton, and just get up and walk away and just leave Garcelle and Sutton on the boat like to sunbathe. And I kind of was like, I have been, what's the word? Guilty of doing that, where someone is sharing something like personal and like as to show that I relate to it, I'll jump in. So I can say that sometimes you just have to sit back and let people talk and process their feelings. But I do feel like Diana is just looking for a reason to hate Sutton or to have an issue with Sutton, because the lady was really just trying to relate to you. But as we continue, it just seems like Diana is just over Sutton after Sutton yelled at her and made her cry. The big bad wolf don't like that she look weak in front of the masses, pretty much. So they're eating. Erika finally wakes up after being drunk and having like, I think she put like, she messed up the couch on the boat with like, I think like self tanner or like makeup from her being drunk. She started asking Crystal about having a foursome or a threesome of an orgy with her and her husband. Crystal immediately shut that down, which I'm not mad at her, because no ma'am, no ma'am, no ma'am, no ma'am, Pam. So the way Diana got stung by the jellyfish is like she just randomly jumped off the boat and started swimming. Talk about she was going to swim to shore. When I tell y'all, they were probably like a good maybe 10 or 15 minute swim from shore. So she would have definitely got tired by the time she got there. Probably would have got a cramp. So it didn't make sense why she was trying to swim to shore. Like, wait till we docked. Like, you were that upset that you had to jump in the water. So then they're all sitting at the table eating, and everyone's watching Erika, like laughing at her being drunk. And some people are happy that Erika's drunk, like mainly the Fox Force 5, because they were like, they feel like Erika is really enjoying her time now. But I'm like, being drunk and incoherent when you don't need to be, or just to be getting drunk on purpose, is not the way you deal with life. But okay. But Erika and Sutton and the rest of the ladies start talking about their parents. Erika starts talking about how, you know, in the South, we're taught to be stoic, you know, still magnolias, beautiful and strong, but that ain't it. So they finally docked, and then the rest of the night, they're going to have the end of the night dinner, because this is the last night they're spending in Mexico. Garcelle and Sutton are on the phone talking about Erika, like how drunk she was and how they were kind of like, it was kind of weird that nobody was concerned but actually happy that she was drunk. So it was just like, this ain't a good look for sis. But like Sutton says, she got a lot of things she want to forget. She ain't got nothing no more. So it's the end of the night. Everybody looks, for the most part, really nice. Garcelle is letting the ladies know that she's inviting Denise to her birthday. Lisa Rinna basically lies and says her and Denise had an exchange. But then in her green screen, she goes on this story about how she was like, it was a very nice moment. But Garcelle texts Denise because they're friends like that. And Denise is like, girl, I ain't talked to that girl in a hot minute. So what you talking about? I was like, see, you got caught up in a lie, Lisa. You just should have kept it the way it was. But what I will say is I'm tired of Garcelle mentioning Denise because it's starting to make people feel like Denise was like some iconic character. And like a lot of people have been saying online, Denise was here and then she went. Like we all were upset with the way Lisa Rinna was doing her, but she was here and then she went. She wasn't anything important or anything of substance. It was just kind of like, okay. And Denise got paid the big bucks. Denise got paid way more than those other ladies. So it's like if Denise wanted to be here, Denise would have been here because the network was actually happy that she decided to be a part of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. But Denise chose to opt out after they started to dig into her business with Charlie and then the whole, like, it just was a lot for Denise and she wasn't ready for Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. So I don't even really blame her for not being there. But I'm tired of Garcelle mentioning Denise. Just like I'm kind of tired of her. Well, I don't mind her bringing up Lisa Vanderpump. I really don't. But I'm tired of hearing about Denise. Because at least Lisa Vanderpump had iconic moments or memorable moments. So then they all asked Diana like how she's enjoying being on her first girls trip. She says, you know, she enjoyed herself. This was her first girls trip. Garcelle, being a can opener, shout out to Sutton, was like, said that because, what's her name? Garcelle was like, do you like some ladies more than others? And you can tell that Garcelle knew what it was. That like, did I say Denise? Diana only really likes everybody except Garcelle and Sutton. And then for Diana to be like, Garcelle's been the one with the biggest wall. She's not been very welcoming. Had we not had that moment with that black blogger, it would have still been a snark, like a weird comments to say, or a real like mean comment like, girl, you really haven't opened up to anybody else, you know. But to hear her say it like the black lady's unwelcoming, when I'm like, girl, that don't look good for you, Diana. It don't look good for you. But I'm kind of like, Diana, you talk to the same people. Like, you haven't sat down with Garcelle. Like, the only people we've seen you really sit down with is everybody else except Garcelle. So what are you talking about? You are new to this group, so you should try to make yourself more welcoming. But okay, sis. They then talk about how Sutton and Erika are getting along. And Sutton and Erika are like, we have our moments, but like, we're not going to fight all the time, especially with what Lisa's dealing with her mom. So Lisa does a really beautiful toast about Lois. All the ladies cheer to Lois, and it was nice. It was heartfelt because I really think Lisa needed it. Then Dorit starts to talk, and they start doing a time lapse, and she's basically being long-winded. Kyle ends up laughing because she's like she's tipsy, and she was just like, girl, shut up. And everyone at the table laughs about it, and they move on. We then have a scene of the ladies going back to the hotel, you know, getting ready to go to sleep and pack up, and it's a scene with Dorit, Diana, and Kyle. And basically, like I said, Diana is over Sutton, and she was like threatening to headbutt Sutton because of Sutton yelling at her. And I'm just like, Diana, you want to hit so hard that it doesn't hit. And like a lot of people have said, Diana has fallen flat for a lot of us. So it's like the quips and the moments that she's trying to have, they don't hit because you're going after Sutton, and technically Sutton really hasn't done anything to you except yelled at you, and she apologized right after doing it. And it's like, either accept the apology or don't. But this whole like, I've grown a lot. Ugh, shut up, turd muffin. Shut up. So it's the next day, and that's another thing. For Diana to be worth $250 million, she don't give. We have seen Diana in nightgown after night outfit, after night pajamas, after like a shirt, and it still don't give the way she thinks she giving. And then her doing her all of that, she does that, and it's gross. Like someone actually mashed up that of her licking her lips, and it's gross. It is gross. It is gross. That's why a lot of people be saying allegedly sis got that, you know, the whole licking thing is a side effect to other substances, allegedly. Okay. So it's the end of the episode, and everybody is getting on the plane. They're about to go back to California, and we see a voiceover. So this is what Diana said, and this is what they put down in the not in the comments, but in the subtitles. Someone asks, like, are we sitting in our original seats? And Diana says, any way you want. So everybody can sit wherever they want to. So then Sutton says, is it okay if I sit here with y'all? Because it was like a table of, I think, Diana, Kyle, Erika, not Erika, because Erika was sleeping. I think Lisa and maybe Crystal. And Diana says how you were sitting before. Like, you just told everybody before Sutton got on the plane that you could sit wherever you want. And now that she's on the plane, now you're saying sit how you were sitting on the plane. So Diana says, this is how we sit before I think. Like, girl, this is how we sat before. Like, you just sit there. You don't have to sit over here. So, and like, Sutton called her meanie pants. But I was just like, oh, that's childish. That is hella childish to do somebody. And it is mean. But that's childish. That is very childish. So then Garcelle asked Sutton, like, girl, what happened? And she was like, well, I asked if I could sit with them. And she told me to sit where I sat before. And Sutton said, well, is this where you sat before? And Garcelle's like, no, girl, I sat over there. Oh, so Sutton's like, oh, so it's just me. And Garcelle was like, I don't like that. And I was like, thank you, girl. She ain't had to do that. She really didn't have to do something like that. And then Sutton said, girl, if I want to, I could get my own plane. I said, come on, Sutton. Come on, get your own plane. And then that's where it ends. That's where the episode ends. Basically, Diana don't like Sutton. She don't see it for Sutton, and she don't like Garcelle. And the only reason why I think she doesn't like Garcelle is because of Garcelle's affiliation with Sutton, and because she wants to be clicked up with Fox Force 5. But I don't think she understands that nobody sees it for you and would gladly like you to leave this show. But okay, y'all. But that is it. That is all. Remember to be bravely authentic, and drop down in them comments below. Deuces.